So I don't know if you guys are aware, but Toyota's been selling a new sports car that we haven't had for like 20 years. Something about it being a BMW.
Dude, is this a Supra?
Memes aside, Toyota's been back with the Supra for about 2 years, and it's been a more than welcome return, but something has been off with it. Look at any new Mark V Supra and it will be followed by the words GR. So what's up? Is this a new performance division by Toyota? And if it is, isn't TRD already supposed to be doing that? Stick around and I'm gonna be here to answer all of your questions. I'm Jackson Lambros, this is Premium Heritage, and this is everything you need to know about Toyota's Gazoo Racing. You guys ever done team building day for work? You know, most companies will take their employees for a nice little retreat, do some laser tag, water balloon toss, go to Chili's after. Toyota thinks that's stupid. In 2007, head test driver of Toyota, Hiro Naruse, had a batshit crazy idea. What if we grab a ton of our test drivers and mechanics from the factory here and run the 24 hours of the Nürburgring? Naruse pitched this as a perfect way to train their mechanics and test drivers in one of motorsport's purest environments, putting both Toyota's men and mechanics to the ultimate test. So later that year, a handful of factory employees worked their way to the Nordschleife for the very first time. Alongside Naruse and his student test drivers, Toyota Vice President Akio Toyoda would be behind the wheel for the team's first ever race. Naruse originally wanted to call the crew Toyota Works Racing, but corporate wanted to keep the brand's name out of this very amateur racing team. Thus, he landed on the Japanese word gazo, roughly translating to the term picture. This, however, had a very different meaning to Toyota and its employees. Gazoo.com was a website created by Toyota in the early 2000s. Trying to increase their presence online every day, pictures of Toyotas would be posted on the site as an advertisement for Toyota's pre-owned cars. So what does this have to do with racing? Toyota engineers interpreted the term as having a mental image, or Gazoo, of a perfect garage, one filled with the same awesome cars shown on the website. Therefore, the term pretty quickly just became lingo for garage within Toyota. So because they couldn't call themselves Toyota Work Racing, they called themselves Gazoo Racing, which means Toyota Picture Racing, but doesn't actually mean picture racing and means garage racing according to Toyota. You got that? Both the Team Gazoo's Toyota Altezas would see the checkered flag surviving all 24 hours of the green hell. Not bad for a couple of Japanese dudes on their first try. The N24 would immediately become an annual Toyota tradition. Each year, the Gazoo gang would pull everyday staff and drivers from the factory and run around the Nürburgring in some very unusual cars. Again, Toyota's focus was on stress testing cars that hadn't been race modified before. So if there wasn't a Super GT or GT3 variant, you bet your ass Gazoo was taking it to Nordschleife. Things like the Lexus LFA, ISF sedan, the GT86, hell, even the CHR crossover has flown the Gazoo flag for Toyota. For over 10 years now, Gazoo has been running the Nürburgring 24 hours, most recently running the Lexus RC and LC and the Toyota Corolla hatchback. Corporate has since fallen in love with Gazoo Racing flying the Toyota flag, so much so that they were renamed to Toyota Gazoo Racing. And by 2012, Toyota was ready to expand GR into another endurance racing program, bringing them back to the most famous race in the world. Toyota was no stranger to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, having several attempts in the 80s and being runner-up in 1992 and 1999. Using the WEC as an opportunity to put Gazoo on the global stage for the first time and to put hybrid technology to the test, they made their debut in 2012. While the team had pace, they always seemed just out of reach from the dominant Audis and Porsches of the era, and the 2016 running of Le Mans is one of the best examples of this. GR started from the front and stayed there for 23 hours and 55 minutes. And after coming so close so many times, 2016 finally seemed like their year. But then heartbreak. In the closing laps, driver Kazui Nakajima reported a lack of power before coming to a stop right in the start-finish straight. In one of the most dramatic finishes at Le Sarthe, Porsche would pass Gazoo and yet again rob them of victory. Since Porsche's departure from the WEC in 2017, Gazoo finally broke the curse and gave Toyota their first win at Le Mans, and since then they have won every single race, helping Fernando Alonso get a jewel in his Triple Crown along the way. Gazoo Racing's success at Le Mans has been long awaited but filled with controversy. Without Audi or Porsche to compete with GR, Gazoo Racing has been the sole factory team in a sea of privateers. Many might put Gazoo's domination down to the money backing them up, but it's important to remember that these teams have almost 5 years of experience running LMP1s compared to these relatively new teams. Dominant or not, Gazoo Racing has given Toyota 29 wins and 3 Constructors' Championships in the WEC in their now 9-year campaign, and their return to endurance racing has been a more than welcome one. Gazoo's presence would extend again in 2017 as GR would make their debut in the WRC. These would be some really big shoes for GR to fill, as this would be Toyota's first appearance since Carlos Sainz, no, not that one, dominated with the Celica in the 1990s. Gazoo Racing has been a force to be reckoned with. In only 4 seasons, they've won 21 rallies alongside 1 Constructors and 2 Drivers' Championships. On top of World Rally and Endurance Championship racing, Gazoo also runs in the Dakar Rally running the Hilux and has a customer program supporting the Supra GT4 and the Lexus RCF GT3. So with all of that out of the way, what does this have to do with the badges on the Supras? Gazoo has been making factory modifications to road cars since 2017. Throughout Asia, you could see sportier versions of the Corolla, K cars like the Voxy and the Copen, and even cars like the Prius and the CHR with the Gazoo badging. Some higher end models like the 8.6 were offered with the GRMN edition, which is short for Gazoo Racing Meisters of the Nürburgring. These were more of a step up from the standard GR Sport models, and you could also see them on cars like the Yaris, the Sentry, and the IQ. These cars would be fitted with Gazoo Racing fabricated performance parts, and to signify their racing influence, given a badge with the same black and red seen on track. 2019 would be Gazoo's biggest year yet with the launch of the 5th Gen Supra. The racing team assisted in the development of the car almost everywhere, and the A90 would be launched in almost everywhere except Japan with the Gazoo Racing badging, making this considered as the brand's global launch. The WRC's influence can definitely be seen on their most recent model, the Gazoo Racing Yaris. Completely built from the ground up as a homologation model for their WRC team, this is a 3-door hatch with a tiny 1.6 liter inline 6 making over 260 horsepower. All of that going to all 4 wheels through a 6-speed manual. God, this thing's sick. For that much power and traction in something just a little bit bigger than a Fiat 500, this is insane performance and legit one of the coolest things to come out of Toyota in years. And of course, when something incredible comes out of a foreign automaker, we gotta remember one of the 10 car commandments. Thou shalt not get cool JDM cars or Euro cars in America. Look, Toyota, I can totally get why you would rather give us a souped up Camry or an Avalon instead of what a lot of people would see as a pissed off smart car, but that does not make it hurt any less. But there is hope, gentlemen. While everyone was enjoying their Yaris GR, Toyota noticed that America was sitting on the curb by themselves without one. So Toyota walked over and made sure everything was okay. I got enough for everyone. You sure you don't want one? Hey, yeah, man, it's cool. It's just, you know, I'm allergic to cool stuff. My parents are super strict. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I'll see what I can do, and, you know, maybe I could make like a special edition for you, because I just really want to share this with everyone. You know, would that make you feel better? Yeah, what? GR actually does want to make a hot hatch solely for the US domestic market, and while we don't know what it will be based on, probably a Corolla, let's be honest, what performance it will have, or hell if it'll even exist, but there is hope. What is guaranteed to come to the States is the 3rd and latest addition to the Gazoo family, the GR86. Like it sounds, it's the successor to the GT86, making an amazing 8 more horsepower from the Boxer engine. Aside from some slight design changes, the formula for the GR86 has been relatively unmodified, which is great for those looking for an entry-level sports car. This, of course, will also be seen in the form of the Subaru BRZ, but rumors are leading to us believe we might actually see Lexus use it as a more luxurious hybrid take on it. The last and what might possibly be the coolest thing about Gazoo is their heritage parts program. If you need old parts, you can go to Gazoo and get parts for your 3rd and 4th generation Supra and even the 2000 GT. It's hard to think that a bunch of bored employees gone racing would carry the banner for an entire brand, but that's exactly what GR has done. With their hybrid hypercar for Le Mans, the future looks incredibly bright for the red and black, and it looks like Gazoo Racing has no signs of stopping. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see some of the other stuff we do, click right here, hopefully where my 2 fingers are, if I am in the right position and if my index fingers are good. You can also subscribe maybe right here. And if you click on my nose, you can get like a cool video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.